Hi, this is Tracy Lenz with PECAN Tree Oil and Gas. I am the owner and petroleum engineer, and we have an update that we'd like to roll out to y'all today and just give you some general updates of where we're going with the website. What you see on the screen here is our new PECAN monthly subscription, which gets you the PECAN estimate. Similar to a Zillow's estimate, for $39, you can get a single property value, key performance indicators, key activity indicators, analytics. We're going to be rolling out email alerts. Well interest estimates are live now, who the operators are for those wells, and just a general way to store all your information and value on that property are now available. So this is per property. We did that so that we can break it into the smallest chunks as possible, because so many of y'all only have one or two lands that you just need to get an idea for. But then there's investors that have thousands of properties, and there's not really a single subscription that fits all of those. So we just wanted to do it per property. It is called a subscription, but really you can treat it like a one-time purchase. The reason that we treat it like a subscription is because that one-time purchase gets you access to the data for 30 days. Now, if you want to continue that, say you're monitoring the lands, or there's a lot of activity happening on your land, or you're going through a sales or something where you just want to keep a better eye on it for a while, or maybe you just like the peace of mind of having the activity alerts active all the time, you can subscribe and just keep it reoccurring to where you always have access to this data, and we'll keep track of anything going on. When you go in and you see your property, it will give you several different places you can subscribe, and that will take you to this single property subscription. When you hit subscribe, you can go in and put your information into Stripe. And then once you're subscribed, you get access to all of this information for only $40. I'm really excited of being able to offer it at this price point, because I didn't think we'd be able to get it this low. This is just a estimate. So you treat it the same way that you treat a Zillow's estimate. Like, don't go listing your property for this amount, but this will give you the approximate range for everything that should be considered if you were to list it. This includes the producing wells and the undeveloped acreage, just similar to anything else that we would provide in our quick looks or reports or appraisals. This includes everything that the market would be looking at if they were looking at your property. So if there's rigs coming your way, if there's land being developed, but you're just not getting paid for it yet, all of that is being included in this sales estimate. So this is the total amount that if you were to list all of your acreage that you put in, the total amount you'd sell it for, and then also the dollar per acre, because this industry likes to operate on dollar per acre. And then we also clarify what exactly that's for. That's for a certain amount of acreage leased at a certain royalty rate. If you're unleased, that's an assumed royalty rate. And then we also have your leased estimate range of what we think that you could be able to lease your property for in terms of the lease bonus. We have more information in these hover overs. Once you get the property built in, we run these estimates regularly. Every time we have a new update, it will push to here, and the sales estimate will be tracked over time. We also provide you the key activity indicators, where we have recently permitted wells, recently drilled wells, recently completed wells. These are the things that really drive that value that might be outside of something that you'd normally see, like through your revenue statement. If there's any activity that is pushing value in this area, this will show up here. We also have a new property details page, which this is the same information that you used when you saved the property, but we also have where you can hit edit and edit the existing properties, or you can display all. And there's a lot here because there's just a lot of things that can be helpful to track. If you're wanting to get a more in-depth appraisal done in the future, these are all the things that I would be looking for. If you don't know what they are, you can ignore it, but there's hover overs for all of these. Eventually we'll have reports that do pull in on some of these more fine-tuned values, but as of right now, a lot of these are informational purposes only. We of course have maps, and you can see what wells are producing in the area and then the wells around it. If you need to modify the property, that's how you do it. I'll just walk you through that. Hit edit, you get to this screen, and you click on the box, and you can either drag the entire property by clicking and holding, or if you hover over the corner, it's a little finicky. That's just the default way that MacBox does it. Is a little finicky, but you can click and drag the corners and modify if you need to make it a slightly different outline. Sometimes it's crosshairs, sometimes it's a little hand. You just gotta play with it. That would be how you would save it. This does affect your property details. Old orders will use the old property details, but the above subscription, this up here, if you change any of these property details, it changes with it. If I hit save, it'll go through and recalculate all the different information. So like right now it's recalculating. And then we have the estimated well interest. So of these wells that are here, we'll list out which ones we think you should have interest in, what we think your interest should be based on the information that you provided in the property details. That's mostly how many net acres and what your royalty rate is. By default, we just show the active ones, but if you want to show all the wells, you can display all, and that will show everything. So things that haven't been drilled yet or were drilled and plugged in the past, and the estimated interest. You can go in here and edit this interest and overwrite the decimal. So if you know what the decimal should be and you want these things to be calculating based on your actual decimal, you can go in and change that. Or if you know that you don't have interest in a well, you can go in and just say 0, hit save, and it overrides it there. Usually this is most important for a more detailed report. It really honestly won't affect the PECAN estimate that much, because these are probably pretty close to what you're actually getting paid on. And if they're not close to what you're getting paid on, it's probably some other thing that we need to edit. If you are really far off and you don't know why, just send us an email and we can look into it, see if there's any units that we need to adjust, or maybe there's a royalty interest that needs to be updated. Just send a feedback, support@pecantreeog.com, and we will look into that for you. This is also how you can see the wells by operator. If you unclick only producing, you can see all the historic operators also. This is just the last operator on the well. So a lot of these older ones are who operated the well when it was plugged. Then if we go back, we can go back to the property page. And if you do order any of our engineering reports, that will be stored here. And those are the more detailed engineering reports that I will link a video to. Right now we're calling them our quick look reports, and there's only one option for the type of report, but we will be rolling out more in the future. So that's the first update, is this new PECAN estimate. And then we also take that to the property page. So if you want to have a view of what's going on across all your properties, any property that you've saved will be added to this list. And then any property that you have a active subscription in will show the value. We do have some things coming soon. There's a lot of stuff coming soon. We have just so many plans for the site and this application. We've really appreciated how excited everyone's been about this. I'm glad that it's coming across how unique this is for our industry and how much it's really designed for the mineral owner and for the investor to be able to use. And these are the questions that I get most commonly, and trying to figure out the way to parse this information out has been difficult, to say the least. And so I'm really happy with how this is turning out, and I'm glad that y'all are excited about it too. Thanks for all the people who have signed up so far. We had a little hiccup at first. If you initially came onto the site and weren't able to save a property, we had an issue with authentication. That's fixed now. It should be all working. And if it's not, send an email to that support email below. I have one more video that I'm going to be putting out today regarding a all access tier that we're going to be rolling out also. So if you are either an investor or just an industry person who this type of information would be super useful to you, we have a package that is a very limited time that we're rolling out called the all access package. That will be anything that we have on the site you will have access to also. Look forward to that, and I'll see you next time.